that's fundamentally the difference between Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes is always on the right side of aggressive versus reckless. Yep. Josh Allen, from time to time, becomes so intoxicated by his own skills, and for good reason. For good reason. The throw that he mentioned, when you watch it, it's an incredible cannon shot. It is classic. There's only one guy on the planet can throw the ball that way. The only problem is it comes down in the hands of the wrong player. So when you have that high-end skill set, it does become very tempting to utilize it. Look at this throw. Man, I mean, he's flat-footed. Yeah. He just cranks it, but to the wrong guy. So that's the key. And I think at times you want to make something happen. That's the thing that causes athletes to become reckless. I'm just trying to make something happen, coach. I'm just trying to make something happen. I'm a little frustrated. Things aren't going well. The other team's scoring points. I'm just trying to make something happen. And I think that Josh Allen's turnovers, for the most part, trace to this desire to be the Superman that we've seen him be so many times.
Well, Mike, and that's the whole key for the Bills in this game. 9 times this season, they've had multiple turnovers in a game. They've only played mistake-free, having no giveaways in 3 games this year. So that's the key for them. And Josh Allen, over the last 3 games, he's thrown 5 interceptions. You just can't do that and expect to win games against good teams. The Dolphins weren't a good team, and they hung with them, and they barely beat the Dolphins. Now, sometimes when I look at these divisional matchups and I think about what the Bengals did last week and sticking close, sometimes those divisional matchups can go differently, can go sideways because these teams know each other so well. I get that. But they have not really played well in a while because of the turnovers, and they have to play mistake-free against this good Bengals team, because if they don't, Mike, this could get out of hand for them. And it's just what you said. You talked about the patience that the Chiefs need to show. It's the same thing with the Bills. They've got to be patient. And Josh Allen can't have that mentality that you're talking about. I'm just trying to make something happen. He's got to say, hey, we got 4 quarters here. If they're down early, we got 4 quarters. Let's just don't turn this ball over. Sometimes a punt is not a bad thing.
And when you're up 17-0, as they were against the Dolphins, you've got to have that killer instinct. We see so many teams come back from these big deficits, in part because the team that establishes the lead kind of eases off a little bit. Keep going, keep pushing, keep doing what you do. No lead is safe, as we've seen time and again this year in the NFL. So the Bills will win this game if they what, Charean?
Well, I think that's just it. If Josh Allen protects the football, to me, that's the whole key. They're going to get an emotional lift if Damar Hamlin shows up to this game. I do think the home field advantage plays a huge part. I don't think this game should be in Buffalo, but it is in Buffalo. I think that's going to be a huge edge for them. So I think if they come out and don't turn the ball over, they're going to win this game against the Bengals.
Yeah, I worry about them being too emotional, because they have been off the past couple of games they've played. They've won them both. The Patriots gave them a better fight than I ever dreamed they would. The Dolphins, my God, were ahead in the third quarter, and the Bills had to scratch and claw against Skylar Thompson to pull off that victory. I think the Bills win if they get someone to step up other than Stephon Diggs. It's too much on him. That's one of the things Sim says all the time. Last year in the divisional round, Gabriel Davis had 4 touchdown catches. It still wasn't enough to win the game, but they took full advantage of all the attention that's paid to Diggs, and somebody else has to do something big. Not just, hey, I made 1 catch on 3rd down, or I scored a touchdown. It's got to be somebody stepping up in a big way, whether it's Gabe Davis, whether it's Cole Beasley, whether it's Dawson Knox. How about using Nyheim Hines more than 10 times on offense and 1 touch? We've seen what he can do. Come on, Ken Dorsey, draw up some plays for Nyheim Hines. He's earned it. He deserves it. The fans want to see it. He's shown what he can do. I was amazed he only had 1 touch last week, 2 targets, 10 plays offensively for Nyheim Hines. So, I mean, that's why they got him. They traded Zach Moss for the guy. They traded part of their running back rotation to get Nyheim Hines, and they barely use him. So somebody's got to step up. Somebody's got, and I think this is what happens, Charean, to teams that have a superstar talent like Josh Allen. I think, and I'm oversimplifying it, but that's okay. At least I say it's okay, so it's okay. you get a lot of guys that just kind of wait around for Josh Allen to do something rather than being the ones who step up and do something. Somebody's got to take it on himself to step up and be the other part of the Josh Allen equation. It can't just be Josh Allen doing things alone. Somebody's got to lend a hand and help Josh Allen.
Well, that's exactly right, Mike, and it just can't be Diggs every single time. And they do need a Gabriel Davis or Cole Beasley or whoever it is to step up and make some plays and make some big plays. And it's time for them to do that. And if they're going to get to the Super Bowl, then they're going to have that. I think, Mike, one thing that's really interesting on the other side of the ball in this game is you go back to that Bills-Chiefs game, and they couldn't get a stop on the Chiefs. They did great because Gabriel Davis played so well. But they said, we have to go out and fix our pass rush. We need one guy to make a difference. They signed Von Miller. He got hurt, is out for the year. Bengals beat the Chiefs, get to the Super Bowl. They said, well, we couldn't win the Super Bowl because we couldn't protect Joe Burrow. We're going to go out and improve our offensive line. And guess what? They've now had 3 injuries in their offensive line over the past few weeks. So they're without probably 3 offensive linemen this week. So you've had things where you tried to fix deficiencies from last season to get you to that next step. The Bills are there right now. The Bengals are a couple of games away from that if they can get back to that point. But it ends up that the deficiencies that they had last year are still there. It's the Bills trying to make a stop, and it's the Bengals trying to protect Joe Burrow.
And it's kind of a wash. The Bills don't have Von Miller. The Bengals are going to be without multiple offensive linemen, it appears. So let's flip it to the Bengals. The Bengals will win this game if they what, Charean?
Well, I think that's it, Mike. If they can protect Joe Burrow, I do think the Bengals are playing better right now than the Bills are. I was a little disappointed with the way they played last week. I didn't think that was their best effort of the season, and they had kind of been on a roll, and I just didn't think they played very well. But you go back to last season, postseason, 19 sacks in 4 games. For Joe Burrow, he had 9 against the Titans and 7 against the Rams, and it was just disastrous for them. So they go out and they spend $74 million to get those 3 offensive linemen and improve for 15 games. They were there. They played great. And then Alex Kappa gets hurt. Lyle Collins gets hurt. Now Jonah Williams is hurt. So now you're having these second teamers play as your starters, and that's not good. I do think Joe Burrow is better this year than last year at escaping that pressure, at moving around and knowing how to deal with it. But still, if he doesn't have time, then I think it's going to be a different game. If the Bills can get after him, then I think the Bills are going to win this game. But they've got to protect him, give him at least some time. He's got the weapons. If he has the time, Mike, they're going to score a lot of points in this game.
We moved our Show Me Something draft from Friday to Thursday this week, if only to allow Peter King to once again say, Show me something, Daniel Jones. But in that process, I pegged Joe Mixon as the guy who needs to show us all something, because he needs to be able to move the chains without 60% of the starting offensive line, because that's the way you open up the passing game, specifically play action. If Joe Mixon is getting past the first level and into the second level and gashing the Buffalo defense, that's how you can set up Joe Burrow to have a big day throwing the ball if you're not going to have the kind of protection that you're accustomed to. So that's the key. I think Joe Mixon needs to have a big day. And also, let's not overlook the time-honored value in keeping Josh Allen on the sideline. Because the longer he's on the sideline, long sustained drives, he's more inclined maybe to try to do something special over the top, just trying to make a play, coach, throwing that beautiful pass 70 yards in the air that gets caught by a member of the other team. The longer he's waiting, the more difficult it will be for him to play within himself. So that's why Joe Mixon, I think, is such a critical part of this game. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.